Extremes project. Today, we're going to talk about innovative educational methodologies in action, from design thinking for education to universal design of learning. Dr. Rosa Doran has an exceptional presentation for us today. Before giving the floor to her, I would like to remind you that we can meet again in 2 weeks time, more precisely on April the 12th, for universal design of learning. Rosa Doran has an exceptional presentation for us today. Sorry, I have, sorry for that. So in 2 weeks' time, we will discuss how we can transform school education with open educational resources and practices. And now we'll just shut up and listen to Dr. Doran with her presentation. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Nikos. Well, hello, everyone. Actually, I have you guys here to my side, so I will be looking now and then to the chat to see if you are there, if you are alive and kicking. I know there is a lag between when I'm speaking and when you are receiving my image on YouTube. But in any case, it's great to have you here with us. Nikos, thank you for the presentation. And I won't waste your time, but we have Gustavo and we have Nikos. Gustavo, thank you for controlling the whole thing and making sure that everything goes smoothly. If you have any question at any moment in time, you can type it on the chat, and we will make sure that we are paying attention to you, okay? So I will start sharing my screen. Okay, I now have to choose the correct one. And I have a presentation that's going, it's a mixture between design thinking and the universal design for learning. And the whole idea is to show you how these two methodologies are interconnected. But before we start, I ask for you guys on YouTube to tell me if you know what design thinking methodology is, and if you do, if you have ever used it. Also, I would like to know where you guys are from. If you are listening to us, I see that we have 10 people with us today. Can you tell us where you're watching us from? I can tell you that I am, me and Nikos, we are currently sitting in our hotels in a beautiful town called, Nikos, I'm going to mess up so badly now, Uvascula. I think it's like this, Uvascula. And it's snowing, it's very, very cold. And we had lots of snow for the last few days. And some of the team, members of the team, we had our Learning from the Extremes meeting here. And some members of the team were now walking on the lake that is just behind us, and it's completely frozen. So the adventures you have when you work with the extremes. So let me check here. I have people saying hello from Covilhã, Portugal. Annabella, welcome. Monica, you said hello to you too, but we want to know where you guys are from. I am from Portugal, I can say it live, and I have here Nikos with me from Greece, Gustavo, also from Portugal, from Finland, okay, someone very close here. Okay, and now let me know, do you know what design thinking is? I'll give you some time to reply that to me. If you ever heard these two words, design thinking, and if you had, just say yes or no, and if you have ever used it with your students. I see that we have more people here. Croatia, nice. Very nice, very nice. Katarina, welcome. Sandra, welcome. Heidi, welcome. Finland. Very nice. We have the extremes in Europe, right? The very hot and very cold. Some people are telling me that they are currently in the beach, while people here are trying, freezing, walking in the ice. Okay, I think the lag today is more than 1 minute, Gustavo, because it took some time to appear here. So I will let you tell me if they say yes or no, but I will start explaining what design thinking is. Design thinking actually was not born as a methodology for education. It's a methodology, it's a marketing methodology, and it's very, very used. And I will tell you in a moment how you are affected by this methodology. So it's something that helps anybody that is producing a service or a product or whatever they want to sell. How am I going to meet my target audience? Okay, so how am I going to address the needs, or if this is not a need, it's something that I want to just produce something that I think is nice and I want people to be convinced to buy, how do I do it? Well, you never heard, but you certainly were affected by it once or more times in your life. And I can show you, for instance, how many times have you gone to a supermarket, and you enter a supermarket, you see something there with lights, with colors, with flowers or whatever in the middle, in the very entry. And actually you didn't need that, but you end up looking and sometimes you buy it. Or I don't know, how many times did you come home with things that you actually didn't need? And as someone that is selling, we need to know who is our audience, what is it that they need. If I'm living in a neighborhood with elderly, there is no point in creating a pub, or maybe there is, because all the children and the grandchildren are coming to visit the elderly and they're going to go to the pub. So you need to understand who is your audience. And you're probably thinking, yeah, but this is a talk about education. What does it have to do with education? Well, it has to do everything with education, because when you are talking to your students, you want them to buy the knowledge. You want them to be interested in what you're presenting. You want them to feel that that is something that they would like to learn and that is actually useful for them. You want them motivated. You want to encourage them to dive into the knowledge that you are sharing with them. And that's what we call design thinking for education, is when you have to think about the audience that you have. Another application of design thinking is when students are going to learn and themselves, they are going to use the methodology of design thinking to create projects that are, for instance, benefiting the community. Imagine that you live in a community like, I don't know, the communities here in New Vascula, where it snows in springtime. People need to know how to be protected, now how not to walk on, how to walk on ice, or how to be safe when walking on the lake, if the lake is still frozen, if it's not frozen. So they might consider a project that will help the community avoid accidents. So, and then they will design their projects and they will follow the same steps. So that is what this presentation is about today. And I will be navigating with you the several steps. The second part of the presentation, yes, Gustavo?
I think you would make a longer pause. Okay, there was just one comment about by Heidi, who said doesn't know what design thinking is.
Okay.
So, yeah, you can continue.
I'll ask again by the end of the conversation today. Well, I also said that today we're going to talk about the universal design for learning. And actually, I'm going to start with the universal design for learning. And the universal design for learning is a methodology that actually universal design is also something that exists outside the world of education. It's how I design something that can be used universally. For instance, if you have a shop, a supermarket, how do I make it accessible to everyone? I need doors that are not an obstacle for people to enter. So if I have sliding doors that have a sensor when someone is approaching. And if I have no steps, then anyone, even someone in a wheelchair, can enter the supermarket. This is universal design, and we can also applicate it to learning. The problem is that you can we don't always consider what are the needs of the people that are with us. We don't always know our students. We don't always know the audience that we are serving. Sometimes teachers arrive in a new school, in a new community, and you might not know or not understand the community you are in. Very often, we only see a little part, a little perspective of the reality. And universal design for learning, it's something that helps us see beyond what is immediately visible to us. And I encountered that image that I'm showing to you. It's a wall in a metro station in Seoul, in South Korea. And I was standing by this wall for like half an hour. We were waiting for someone or something, I don't remember. And I was looking to this, like you see in this picture, and I said, yeah, what might this be? I was not really very interested because it didn't feel appealing to me. But then I had to move, and I saw this. I said, oh, wow, that's actually really very nice. You know, when you move just 2 or 3 steps, and I was missing that reality because I wasn't looking for it. I wasn't paying attention to it. And then I went and had a closer look, and I saw immediately, this is diversity. This is amazing. You know, look at the wealth of information and richness in just a little bit of this mural. And actually, after that, I discovered that the place where I was filled with things like this by this author. I forgot to put his name here, but I will correct that. And it's absolutely amazing. So I was missing the big perspective, and then I immediately thought about the universal design for learning. So there's now this trend is coming up in in different areas in the planet, in business, in conferences, in schools, in many different places. The importance of idea, which is inclusion, diversity, equity, and accessibility. And it's something that needs to invade our lives everywhere. And this illustration here is showing more or less the direction that we are going. Okay, it's common when you visit countries, you visit schools, for instance. People say, "Yeah, I don't know what else to do." They all have the same opportunities. Some of them take advantage of it. Some of them don't. Well, it's not quite so fair to say that, because the needs and characteristics of every individual are different. Even when we are in our meeting, there are some partners that are following things in a very smooth way. Others have more difficulty in some cases. Others have some ideas. Others have other ideas. So everywhere you are, in every audience that you have, when we are training teachers, there are those teachers that are like this with technology. And there are other teachers that they are very creative, but technology might not be their first thing. So humans are all different. And the best way to avoid unnecessary exclusion, it's to take away obstacles. And this is what this illustration is depicting. You know, the difference between equality, everyone has the same opportunities, not everyone will thrive. Equity, when you provide different solutions for each and every person, which can be difficult if you have, for instance, 100 students or 200 students, as some schools have in the world. It's difficult to build a solution for each and every student. Or you use the universal design, which means a design that will fit everyone. And I give you one more example. Imagine that I'm just trying to tell you how this is important in every part of our life, in every aspect of our life. For instance, if I open a restaurant in a neighborhood, and I want this restaurant to be famous, would be a nice idea to know what kind of needs the audience has. I have this example this very week. I need to have a diet of low FODMAP. I am sure that 90% of you will not know what I'm talking about. So usually restaurants are not ready for that. I have to explain to them what do I mean with that and what is my special need. And all of this is putting impediments. So there are many places that are not inclusive. So imagine that you are in a neighborhood of people that are vegetarians, or you are in a neighborhood of people that prefer meat. What do you do to please everyone? Anyone has any idea? How would you solve this problem? I'm opening a brand new restaurant. I have no idea who are the people living in the neighborhood. I don't know what are the characteristics of the majority of the people there. How am I going to be sure that I will please everyone in my restaurant? What do you suggest? I know that I see that it's a little bit faster now, the connection between my presentation and YouTube. Anyone has a suggestion? Gustavo, do you have a suggestion for me? What would I do if I wanted to thrive in a restaurant, in a place that I have no idea who people are?
Give free food.
Free food. I love it. I love it. That's a very good idea. That's really a very good idea. Nikos, what idea do you have? Oh, am I frozen or Nikos is frozen?
Is Nikos frozen?
Okay, okay.
Most everyone. Something safe.
Something safe. Okay. Well, my suggestion is this: a self-service with every possible solution. So everybody could find something that they could eat, right? I personally love when the people say, we're going to a self-service, because I know that I will always find something for me there. I won't be in trouble. So, this is one solution. This is the universal design of a restaurant, right? Everyone can feel comfortable there. So this is one solution. So we have created something here in the framework of a project called InSteam. Actually, it should appear here, but it's not. So I will ask Gustavo, please, to put the link of the project called InSteam on the chat. You can go there and visit. This scenario that I'm presenting here was created on the framework, in the framework of that project. And you find all the steps to guide you through the universal design for learning. And the idea is you get to know your students a little bit. You get to know what kind, in general, what kind of characteristics you have in your audience, cultural, social, because every student will have a different need. Every student will have some aspects that differentiate them from all the other students in your classroom. The students come from different educational backgrounds, perhaps, and nowadays with the classrooms, with migrants, with refugees, realities are completely different. So I need to know a little bit more about the educational background of the students that I have there with me. Students have different attention spans. Some students can stay paying attention to me for 1 hour. Some students can only do that for 10 or 15 minutes at a time. They have to, stop a little bit and breathe, or maybe get up, or maybe listen to the whole classroom standing. So they have different way to interact with knowledge. Some students might have problems with language abilities. Others might have a problem with their cultural or personal beliefs. So there are many characteristics that I need to take, or I can take into account. If I don't have this possibility, as I said in the beginning, I try to diminish the obstacles the best I can. And you probably are asking, okay, great. How do we do that? So the universal design for learning has 3 main pillars, and every pillar has a list of guiding principles. They are very well tested and very well known. I personally think it's easier to apply it than to read the whole guideline. Again, there are plates for everyone. I prefer to understand in practice how it works rather than reading each and every one of the guidelines. Some people prefer to dive deep into the guidelines. There are examples online, there are books, there are videos, there are lots of materials that you can find online that will help you navigate the world of the universal design for learning. But basically, there are three main pillars. There is one pillar that is devoted to the why of learning. So it's the pillar where you are driven to facilitate the encouragement and engagement of the students. How do you keep your students' interest? It's imagining that the students are asking you, why should I care about this? Why isn't interest or important to me? This is the why. The what is how you are going to represent the material that you have, the content knowledge that you have to deliver to them, how you are going to deliver it. For instance, different states of matter, solid, liquid, or gas. I can take people, here, if I was in Uvascular, I would take students to the ice and transform ice into water and discuss all this process with them while they are learning the different states of matter. And the how you allow students to present to you what they have learned. Okay, because the students have different preferences. So how you can make sure that every particular student learned the lesson that you are delivering to them. So this is the universal design for learning in a snapshot. So how do I translate that in a little bit more technical language? The three pillars, the why is the why is the engagement, the what is the representation, and the how is the action and expression. Okay, and these pillars are connected to different parts of our brain. So the why is that part on why should I care about this? I don't care. I'm not interested in this subject. So you have to find, how am I going to somehow attract the attention of the students for this subject matter in particular? Or which topic can I choose that will make the students interest, and from which I can improve the competence profile of the student or the knowledge content of the student of a particular part of the curriculum. Okay, it depends a lot on your creativity and on finding good examples that you can explore. The second part is how I'm going to present it. Maybe my student, for instance, I can tell you, I train teachers all year long. And the best way to attract their attention is to put a video. The moment you put a video online, everybody will sit still and look to the video because it's interesting. If there's music in the video, in the video, even better. If I ask them to stand up and dance while the video is playing, then they are mine completely. So you need to know how to present the material. And then whenever you're asking students to deliver to you to demonstrate to you that they have learned or that they have improved certain competencies, you can ask them to present in whichever way they want. For instance, you want them to tell you that they learn about the different states of matter. They can show that writing an essay, presenting a video, recording an audio, dancing, doing however they feel more confident. Okay, so this in a nutshell are the main pillars of the universal design for learning. And in this lesson that we have created, we give some tips on things that you can do in order to activate each one of these pillars. For instance, how do you show them that what you are presenting to them is interesting? Well, connect it to real life examples. Invite the students to investigate better the topic. Ask the students to set their own personal goals for this learning. For instance, imagine that they are going to talk about snow. Check which are the competencies that you want to improve in your students and have them set their own goals. Let them decide what they want and how they are going to do it. Let them work in teams and support as much as possible community projects that are relevant to the community where the students live, because then it's personal. But involve them from the very beginning in their own learning. When you talk about the representation, well, enable multiple means to present the topic that you are going to discuss with them. You can let them listen to music or read a book or see a comics, or you can present things in a graph, or you might have illustrations, or you might have a video. Make choices, present them possibilities for them to interact with the content knowledge that you are willing to give to them. This will also work. Imagine that you have kids that have some autistic spectra, or if they have some problems with hearing, or with or have some vision impairment, or someone that is a little bit more ADHD than autistic, or someone that is prefers to read and be in their own corner rather than interacting with other students. So be flexible and present multiple solutions, so that they won't stop because they don't have certain competence, or because they are not feeling comfortable with that particular thing. Of course, if you have, for instance, a student that is really very shy, and it's separate, there are some competencies where you have to push them outside of their comfort zone and ask them to develop that competence that they don't have. And you can do that in the part related to the way they will express how they have learned. And in this link, if you go to the part related to the inclusive material, in the guidelines, there are some videos that are very nice to show you how a student can present what they have learned. And there are suggestions, as you can see here in this screenshot that I'm presenting to you. So, of course, I mean, I want to know if the student learned about the different states of matter. And I tell them, okay, present me however you want. You want to make a theater play? Go. But then I also want to improve the competence profile of the student. So the shy student will be invited to, produce something and present it to the group until that competence of talking in public is going also to be developed. So there are several ways for you to navigate the universal design for learning. And these are the guidelines, and we are preparing in the framework of learning from the extremes a Genially that has these guidelines in a more user-friendly way. And I hope that in 1 month or so, this will be ready for you to find in our Learning from the Extremes portal. Maybe, Nikos, now your turn to put the Learning from the Extremes portal, the international community, available to the audience. If you are a part of the project, Learning from the Extremes, you are invited to actually, all of you are invited to join the community, where we have more resources to share with you. And Universal Design for Learning and Design Thinking are some of them. So it will have a look like this, but it will be presented in a different manner with some examples, some practical examples that you will be able to add. Another thing that you should do if you are using the Universal Design for Learning, and if you're using Design Thinking, is to avoid stereotyping. And that is something that is also very difficult to do, because it's very common that you find, you find stereotypes everywhere related to gender, relating to careers, related to races, related to, I don't know, there are numerous stereotypes that we find everywhere. And sometimes it's unconscious that people are doing that. I don't know how many times I have heard teachers saying, yeah, some of my students are smart, but some of them will never thrive in the world of science. This is a common thing. And this is very wrong, because you are sometimes stereotyping children without properly looking to their cultural, social background, to the background of knowledge that they carry, and you are preventing them to become the best that they can be, to exploring the talents that they have in the best possible way. So you have to be very careful on how you divide your classroom. You shouldn't divide them. You should incentivize everyone to become the best they can in every possible area. Another thing that is also very, very common is in unfortunately many countries around the world, is the problem of the gender disparity. And we hear very often teachers say, yeah, this is like this. Well, actually, they don't use quantum mechanics. This is my invention. People use, it's not rocket science, but yeah, girls are not really into that. They are not very interested in that. That's wrong. That's really very wrong. First of all, rocket science is not as difficult as this. It's just a matter of learning. Quantum mechanics is very difficult. At least for me, it's the most difficult subject I've ever met. And you should never say something related to gender. I mean, you don't learn what you didn't learn. If you want to learn something, even quantum mechanics, you can learn. It's just a matter of how much effort you are willing to put there. So again, teachers shouldn't bring stereotypes to the classroom. And this is something that is very important. And teachers should also pay attention to the specific characteristics of each and every student. Teach each student as an individual, regardless of their gender, and try to find appropriate solutions for each and every student. And for that, of course, you need to know your students. Otherwise, you won't be able to personalize and differentiate their learning experience. And what are the aspects that you have to take into account? And this is already the first step of design thinking. Design thinking is divided. I will show you in a few slides left, the next few slides. Design thinking is divided in 4 steps: feel, imagine, create, and share. You might say, if you know design thinking, I learned different. I learned design thinking in 5 steps. Well, there are design thinking in 7 steps. And you can do design thinking in 3 steps. It doesn't matter. It's just the way you present the same methodology. It doesn't matter the name of the steps. It doesn't matter. It's the goal that matters in the way that you are doing it. All of them have the same first phase, which is feel. You have to feel your audience in whatever business you are. If you don't feel your audience, you are not serving them. You might just be preaching to the void. So one thing that helps is to try and discover what is the cultural and social background of the students that you have with you. What is their beliefs? What are their beliefs? What are the particular needs? What are the customs and traditions? What are their behaviors, their values, their self-perception, if they can self-regulate, if they have self-esteem? What are the realities of their families and communities? What do they value? And you can do that in kind of playing with them. Discover this, it doesn't have to be in one event, but there are ways where playing, singing, dancing, you can learn more about the students. Let them have their 5 minutes of fame where they're sharing with the other students their realities. This might be a game changer event. Also, you need to know what are the personal characteristics of your students. If they are creative, if they are curious, if they have critical thinking, if they know how to solve problems, if they know how to collaborate, to cooperate, to communicate with each other, if they are tolerant, if they are resilient, if they have optimism, if they have a vision for their future, so on and so forth. You are probably, I had this several times in my life, people asking me, are you insane? I'm a teacher. You really think that I have to do all of that? Yes, I do. You are a teacher and you have in your hands the responsibility of changing this world for a better place. And there's no other way to do that than making sure that your students become the best that they can be, that they are not marginalized, that they see the opportunities that they can have with the talents that they have. Everyone has a natural talent. Everyone has a natural flavor that they prefer. And this is what the teachers have to do. They have to find out. I had teachers that completely changed my life. And I thank them for being resilient and putting the extra mile to help. So I don't know if there are questions in the chat. Oh, I see there's lots of people saying things here, but I don't see any questions so far. So, but please, if you have any question, please let me know, okay? Now, design thinking, as I said, has these 4 steps: feel, imagine, create, and share. And I am already presenting here, I already presented to you the design thinking from the point of view of a teacher that will feel the audience, will feel the students, will learn about the students, will learn about the specificity of the group of students that they have. They will imagine a solution for them, adapting the content, adapting the way the content is presented, adapting the possibilities for the different students, imagining what is the best solution and creating that solution and retrieving the results. Did it work with this team of students? Didn't it work? Doing it again and again and again. And when it works, sharing with that colleagues and say, oh, you know, Philip wouldn't do this and Mary wouldn't do that, but then I let them prepare a play, or I let them record a music and dance, and they're thriving in every different subject. So they will share with the other, you will share with your colleagues, and the whole team of students are going to become far better. I know that you are already doing that. Many of you are already discussing with your colleagues what's the best way to handle each and every student, right? But if you know that you are using this methodology and you are a little bit more criterious in some details, you might collect new and better results. But design thinking, as I said in the very beginning, can also be used for students when they are learning. And again, it's the same methodology. They feel the topic that they will learn. Why is this important? For instance, I'm going to learn about bees. Why shouldn't we kill bees? Why? What would happen to us as humans if bees suddenly disappeared? And so they're going to feel about the topic. They are going to learn the topic. They then will imagine, okay, so, okay, if we are not going to destroy all the bees in this planet, if we need more bees, maybe I will plant a bees-friendly garden. Maybe that will be a good solution to have more bees. And they will do that. They will imagine the garden and they will plant the garden. And if the garden flourishes and bees are coming, they can make a bees hotel. And if it works, they will share with the community and invite the community to do the same by sharing their awareness that they gain, what they have learned, and how they can mitigate this problem that is a growing problem for us humans. So I will go step by step on design thinking methodology, and I assure you, you can accommodate everything that you need to teach, or better saying that the students need to learn while using this methodology, okay? So the feel. Well, imagine that the students are going to work for their communities. And for you guys that are from the project learning from the extremes, I know that you are willing and preparing yourselves to address the needs of your community, especially if you are in rural areas. Sometimes there are needs that are an emergency, or there are needs that are simply there because you have no opportunities, or there are needs just because they are there. So ask your students what they want to do. Ask your students what they want to work with, and try to adapt your curriculum content to that particular knowledge that they will be working with. And the first thing that they will do is gain awareness about the needs of the community and get more knowledge about the specific topic that they need to deliver to the community, or they will help the community with. Imagine that you acquire some equipment that will help bring up the digital competence profile of your community. Maybe you're creating a makerspace, and you want the makerspace to reflect the reality, to reflect the needs of your community. Your community needs to produce a few things at the local level, and having a makerspace and a 3D printer will make all the difference in the world. So your students will have to learn how to use the equipment. They will have to inquire the community to see what is it that they need. They will need to discover how they can use 3D printers. They will need to discover maybe how they can be used for the benefit of the community, brainstorm with others, talk to local authorities. So they are feeling the problem, they are learning about the problem, they are finding, they are going to find solutions for the problems that they are going to address. So yeah, exactly, I forgot that I had this slide. So what are the needs? How do we capture their attention? Because sometimes the communities are completely oblivious to what the students are doing. The parents are not interested on what the students are doing and how they are learning what they are learning and the importance of what they are learning. How do you keep their interest? Are there specific characteristics that need more attention than others? And now I'm talking about both. A teacher analyzing the students, a students working with the community is always the same characteristics, okay? I will make this presentation available to you in the resources of the Learning from the Extremes portal, okay? So you don't have to worry about not having, and this presentation is being recorded anyway. And then you have, of course, the imagine phase, which is okay, how can I make a difference? What am I going to make, right? So you can, in there you have to help your students because it's not easy to materialize an idea. Sometimes, you know, they want to conquer the whole world at, you know, one flip of the fingers and that it's ready and done. So you have to help them, you know, like how am I going to solve the problem? How am I going to invite my colleagues to brainstorm with me? How am I going to schematize my projects? How I'm going to storyboard, and how am I going to select the best idea? Because I had some ideas, my friends had other ideas. Maybe we need to brainstorm a little bit more. Maybe we need to consult some other people. Maybe we have to talk to experts in the community. Maybe I have to invite them on board. So this is a road that I have to go with your help as facilitators of this learning experience, so that you steer them in the right direction and don't have them trying to conquer the world in one day. And then, of course, the fun part begins because they start with their projects, they start materializing their vision, and they will have to make a list of resources that are necessary. They will have to make concrete plans to fundraise if necessary. Maybe it's not necessary. Maybe you already have everything in the school, the equipment that they need, the raw material that they will need to use. And then they get started the planning and the materialization of the whatever they are going to be producing for the benefit of the community. And in the end, after the work is done, they're going to share it all with the community. They're going to share not only the final product, but the whole experience that they had while being exposed to this learning opportunity. And these are very good opportunities for STEAM learning: science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. And actually, you can involve all subject domains in the materialization of projects like this, because they can be as rich as you want it to be. It's just a matter of facilitating and making sure that your students are being exposed to all the possibilities that they might have. For the students, the learning will acquire a completely different meaning because it's their project, it's their product. They have addressed something that they wanted to, and they produced, they found solutions, they thought about it. So something, you know, something that was a very curricular content in a book or whatever became my project. I involved and helped my community, and you involve the community, then it's their project. Maybe they will help the students. And all of a sudden, you will see the whole community contributing to the learning experience of the students. And this is a unique feeling. And of course, it's very important that the community knows what you have done with your students, what they have done. It's important that your school will put this in the website of the school, in the social media, the results of the collaborative work of the students and the local community, okay? Sometimes it doesn't work well. The students will make their projects and they will be frustrated frustrated because it didn't work well. Well, welcome to our lives, right? We all know how many times we have a plan and we fail miserably in achieving the result that we wanted to achieve. Do it again, no problem. Begin from scratch and do it again. Start over. And at some point, success will certainly come. Well, I'm not going to dive deep into this. Already spent a lot of time talking here, but you, as I said, you will have the opportunity to interact with this content a little bit more, and you will have the opportunity to explore each and every part of the design thinking methodology for education. And it's kind of it's summarized in this slide, and this will be available to you. And now I'm going to stop sharing for a moment, and I'm going to move to another window, exactly, and I'll show to you very briefly, what are the facilities of the Learning from the Extremes portal that will help you build your own projects. So let me share my screen again. Okay, for those of you that are members of the project Learning from the Extremes, you will discover, you're probably already familiar to this. This is in the front of you, I guess. Let me minimize this a little bit to here. Okay. So you are probably familiar with this vision. This is the Learning from the Extremes international community. It's a community that is using an infrastructure from the project Open Schools for Open Societies, and it allows us to have some interesting features that can greatly help teachers produce material and share resources. So this is the community, and I am logged in as a teacher, and I'm not going to do it today with you. It's a promise, because this is still work in progress. There are few features of this platform that we are still changing, but we will have another webinar specifically to create a project together with you. You need to be a teacher registered to a community to have access to create a project. You also need to be registered to a school. You can register your own school in the portal, and if you have doubts, you know how to do that, you can come and talk to us. We will tell you how to do it, but that will come in the next webinar. And here you can create a project. And what is a project? So to take this out of the way again. I don't know, let me check here on YouTube. This is harming? No, it's just for me. Okay, then that's okay. So I am going to show to you something interesting here on top of the OSOS portal, or the Learning from the Extremes community. You have what we call OSOS accelerators. These are 83 examples of design thinking projects that are following the design thinking methodology. And I talked about bees, so I'm going to search for bees and see if I can find exactly bees for the future. This is a project that I supported the creation of it, and it's a project that is using the design thinking methodology. And you can find it in Portuguese, you can find it in Spanish, and you can find it in Greek. And here, what you see is the instructions that the teachers are giving to the students to create their own projects to explore more the problem of bees dying, what is going on, and how they can explore and create a project that will benefit the community to learn more about bees. And in this project, the teacher is giving instructions to the students. So what you see here, the feel, the imagine, the create, and the share, are instructions that the teachers are giving to the students to follow this methodology. What is it that the students need to do to learn about bees? This is what the teachers are doing here in this particular phase. In the imagine, so they are helping students to create their own ideas and explore a little bit more. And then in the create phase, they are also suggesting a few things and they share the same thing. So these are all suggestions, are guidelines for the students for them to create their own projects, okay? And if you like one of these projects, you can click on clone. See, up here where I have my mouse, you see I am logged in as a teacher with this account. So I am going to have to create a clone for this project for me. So you see, clone of bees for the future. I can give another name. I can say how to help bees. I change it. I can change whatever I want. And after that, after cloning it, I can associate this to any community that I want. I'm not going to do that right now. I'm going to say that I want it to be private because I don't want to introduce a fake project in the system. This is just for me. And I save it. And I immediately have a project that I can use with my students and I can share with my students, okay? We are not going to go there now, but for the teachers from the learning from the extreme schools, you will be invited to create your students' projects here in this platform, and we will be helping you maybe in, not next week, then we have another webinar about open educational resources. Right after that one, we might have this recording or a webinar for you to learn how to create your projects. And the same goes for any of you that are, even if you're not members of the Learning from the Extremes project, you can benefit from this possibility, okay? And after you created the project, you click on share and create a share link. I copy the link and I have to stop sharing again. I'm sorry, I should have shared my whole browser. And because I am logged in, I need to enter with another browser. Okay, I'm going to do the proper sharing. Now I'm going to share my whole desktop exactly like this. So you can see what I am doing. So here I'm going to put the link that I have created from that clone. And now I am a student in the portal. I have to accept this. I don't have to create a login or register to the portal or anything like that. And in here, I already have the instructions from my teacher for each of the phases. And I have a space where I can see here, I can type what I am doing during the few phases. So the student can record whatever they are producing here, and the teacher can provide feedback. Okay. So I don't know if I went too fast. If you have questions or if you want to make any comment about what I have just presented, just to make it recap a little bit, I went to the Learning from the Extremes portal, where I am a member. Actually, Rosa is not a member. So to become a member, you just click join and then join the group. I am not a member for a specific reason. I'm going to use this account for another webinar with you, and I want to keep it this way. And in here, I clicked in the accelerators. I can do it again. I will type now moon because I know there is one nice example that Gustavo has created, Designthinking with the moon. It's about the phases of the moon. And I like this very much, and I'm going to clone. So this is the second project that I am cloning. And I'm going to save. I'm going to make it private. And I'm going to save. I can make it public. And actually, if I want it to appear in the communities where I am a member, I will have to make it public. But for the time being, I'm not going to do that. So if I click here on my name, in my profile, and I click in projects, I will find here the 2 clones that I already have for design thinking with the moon, and the one from the bees, and whichever other one that I might start creating. Okay, so this is a very nice way to create design thinking projects and sharing them with the students. Okay, as I said, we are perfecting this in 1 week or even less. We are going to have it in a better shape, and you will be able to start creating your projects for your students, and we will have a webinar specifically to help you with that. I see that in YouTube there are no questions. I don't know, Nikos, do you want to add anything to what I presented already?
No, I don't think so. I think that you have presented both the design thinking and the UDL concept very clearly. I promise that we will host a dedicated webinar on how we can upload projects on the portal. It is quite an easy functionality, as long as the user understands the 4 steps of design thinking.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And as I said, as I promised, this presentation will go as a resource. You will find this here. You see here in the portal, we have several resources. And even without joining the community, I have access to these resources, okay? And one of these resources will be this presentation. I will just tweak it a little bit, and you will find it here. And also in the Learning from the Extremes portal, in the Teacher Square, you will find training opportunities where future webinars and MOOCs related to this topic will appear. And also in the guidelines and tutorials, you already have the travel companion for teachers from teachers that are part of the project, how to use this portal. You have the manual here that goes step by step on how to use the portal. And let me go back. In the training opportunities, you have here the information about the summer school that we are having in July, information about the MOOC that the project has, linked to previous webinars and other summer schools that are going to come, and more opportunities are going to appear here. We will be populating the Learning from the Extremes portal with resources, with training opportunities, and very soon, and with your help, lots of projects are going to appear here. And I think this is what I have to present to you. Let me see here. I have Cibotards. No, that is up there. Croatia is here, present. Zoran, thank you. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you liked it. And if you have questions any moment in time, just contact us. I will put, let's see if I can type here. I will put my email address. Oh, come on. My email address here. No, I'm not putting it online, am I, Gustavo? No, probably not on YouTube. So if you go to the portal or to wherever you found information about this, and you can contact me at any moment in time, okay? So, Nikos, I think that is it. Thank you.
Indeed. Yeah.
Thank you all for listening. Nikos, the floor is yours. You want to wrap up?
Thank you again, not only the participants, but also Gustavo and especially Rosa. And don't forget to visit our website and the portal for new and updated information. And see you in 2 weeks' time, discussing how we can incorporate open educational resources in the everyday school life. Thank you all, everyone. Bye-bye from me.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Gustavo.